Welcome. Today I'd like to talk about some ideas that I have. These ideas are things that help me. They are not necessarily good for everyone. So take what is good for you out of what I say or leave what you don't like behind. A few of the things that I've learned over my years is to help myself. And that sounds fairly selfish, and it is. For if I don't help myself, then how can I help others? So it's a thinking construct. The idea is to help myself so that way I can help others and teach them to help themselves so that they can help others. Help themselves so they can help others. Help themselves, and so on and so forth. Now that construct doesn't mean that I'm responsible for anyone doing anything. The concept has to do with being a benefit to society. If I'm in conflict with anyone, it's not worth my time. I believe that we should all be in cooperation, not conflict. Even competition is conflict, in my opinion. Again, these are opinions. They don't necessarily represent your reality. These happen to represent my reality. In the process of not being in conflict with anyone, I don't have to compete against anyone. The only person I'm in competition with is myself. And if I'm not in competition with myself, then I cannot be in conflict with myself. And thus, I can succeed by taking the conflict out of my existence. The next thing is for me to reduce my cost of living, improve my standard of living, and improve the environment I live in. Now, these have some generalized beneficial effects. If I reduce my cost of living, I don't have to spend as much money. If I improve my standard of living, my health and wealth can grow. If I improve the environment that I live in, then the first two are benefited. And so it's a cycle of cross benefits. One leads to the other, which leads to the other, which leads to the other, and my life gets better. This is valuable to me, and I have seen it work. And if you can find a way to utilize that, then you will also see it work, hopefully, in your life and the lives of your friends and family. Exponential growth functions. Food, math, compound daily interest. These are exponential growth functions that I have learned to deal with. My favorite being plants. Plants are great. They're interesting because if you put a seed in the ground and you let that seed grow to maturity, and you don't cut it down, and you don't use it for anything, and no animals or bugs eat it, then you might get more seeds. Well, that could be 2 extra seeds from one, or it could be 50 extra seeds from one seed. There are plants that give thousands of seeds per one seed. This is what we call an ROI, return on investment. Put a tiny little bit of investment in, huge yield back. Not a lot of people understand this concept, or they don't understand how to actively put it into functionality in the real world. They understand maybe the mathematics behind it, or they may understand the logic behind it. They very rarely put it into an executable state where they can get an ROI, or a return on investment. Mathematics can describe this. Geometric functions can describe this. An exponential functional growth is 1 + 1 = 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. 8 plus 8 equals 16. 16 plus 16 equals 32. And so on and so forth. And it keeps going up and up and up and up, and it never goes down. Obviously, in nature, that doesn't work because we have cycles. We have sun cycles, day and night. We have year cycles, which are indicated by seasons: fall, winter, spring, summer. They are not exponential growth functions, but they allow things to grow at rates that are considered exponential, such as flowers and trees and things. Compound daily interest. This is a very interesting subject when it comes to human endeavors, because it's a construct of our thinking. Compound daily interest is designed around money. So you get a percentage of your money paid back to you because you've invested your money into someone's system. For instance, banking is the most classic. Loans are given out at a high yield interest rate, and then the money that's given back to the person that loaned the bank the money is at a low yield interest rate, which means that the bank is profitable and makes a lot of money. So as the investor, I would give the bank $1, and they would say, give me 1% back. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but they're making 17% on their money, or up to 22% on the money. So if I give them $1, I loan them $1 with the agreement that I'm going to gain compound daily interest back against my investment. They loan out the $1 and they get 22 cents back on it, in which case they pay me a penny. We're in the wrong business. You do that with $1,000, or you do that with $1 million, the bank makes lots of money and you make very little, and yet you still make more than nothing. So this is very interesting because we want to compound our interest and compound the money returning to us. Something to study. Point 4, saving money. Now, money is just a construct of our imagination. We have to all agree on it, that it's worth something, and what it is and what it is represented by. For instance, we use dollar bills. People in China use the yen, whatever. I don't care what the form of money is. Money is the concept of a social endeavor to equate trade at a faster level. The barter system is still a form of money. It's just a really slow and uneven form of money transaction. The barter system is great if you don't have any money. Wonderful. You have a product or service or some type of good or information or friends, social networking. Bartering's great, but it's not very fast, and the return on investment can be very, very chaotic. We want to reduce all those chaotic functions, and we want to level it out. We designed a money system to equalize the playing field and give everyone more of a fair chance. So the first thing we do is we say money is a construct and we need to be able to save it. This does not mean just putting it in your mattress and never using it. It means that you want to reduce your spending of it and reduce your costs while increasing your return on your investment. This is a critical thing to do because saving money doesn't mean spending it. It doesn't mean getting a good deal. It doesn't mean going and saving money on oh my gosh, I've got to buy something at some grocery store, or I've got to go buy a new pair of shoes and they're offering me a 15% savings, and that's savings. No. What that is consuming and spending. Now, the idea is similar, but it's not exactly where you want to go. People get it confused because they think they're saving money by spending it. And where we want to be is we want to save money by investing it. Now that's completely different. You have to understand what a liability is and what an asset is. And you definitely do not want to invest in liabilities. Under no circumstances should you invest in a liability. Invest in assets, things that do not deteriorate over time. You don't have to paint them. You don't have to feed them. You don't have to design things to give them medical care, things of that nature. It's not perfect, but those represent a liability factor. You want to invest in things that you can own outright, that you can sell for more than you purchased them for, or that you don't have to spend money on, and you can get something back out of it. For instance, tomato plants. They're one of my favorites. You put a seed in the ground. You've invested a tiny little bit of money and time, maybe a penny for the seed. The tomato plant grows up. As a tomato plant grows, you invest maybe $1 in water over the life of the plant. It's not a lot of money. Water's not very expensive where I live. When you invest that $1 in water, you invest a little bit of your time, maybe an hour of your time, maybe 10 hours of your time in maintenance on the plant. When the yield comes back, you get a tomato. Well, each tomato could have 50 seeds in it. So your investment is 1 seed, 1 penny, a gallon of water or 2, a few hours of your time. And if your time's not worth any money, then those aren't costs. That's your effort being put in. You can do it in your spare time. You don't have to quit your day job, and I do not recommend you quitting your day job for this. What I do recommend is diversifying your ability to create assets. The tomato being one asset. The tomato is eventually going to die. You will have put money into it, but the yield, the return on your investment is 50 to 1. You get 49 seeds back from 1 seed put in the ground. Plus, you get to eat a tomato, and that's wonderful. So that reduces your cost of living, it improves your standard of living, and it improves the environment you live in. I think these are very beneficial ideas. And if you can go research them, take your own time, research them. You don't have to waste a lot of time, but you can research them. Going to libraries, utilizing the internet, utilizing YouTube, utilizing these systems, going to school, getting an education. All of these things are very beneficial to you and can increase your knowledge. When you increase your knowledge, you're actually doing the same thing. You're increasing your standard of living because you eliminate, and I mean eliminate, anything that's not beneficial to you. As you find things that are not beneficial to you and you eliminate them, your life will improve. Your standard of living will go up. Your environment will improve. Those are the thoughts for the day. Have a great day, and I'll give you some more.